Hey guys, I'm Cecilia Jr. here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. Obviously, I'm falling behind on movie reviews, as indicated that this came out on October and we're already early in November. So, a bit of a catch up, but I am finally here to review this movie, and I don't know if I actually got to review the first Goosebumps movie. If I had, it has been a while, so I don't remember all the details. Just that it ended with a typewriter, since they do mention that in this film as well. Anyways, we start this movie off getting a variety of locations and obvious future setup horrors to come alive in the final act. We meet our main character, named Sarah, who is preparing to go to college, and she's told to write about something that she is afraid of, except that she has no clue how to get her ideas on the paper. Nonetheless, she hears a random noise and calls out hello, to the very cliche calling out hello, that is, and she gets a little frightened by her boyfriend named Taylor, and they almost kiss, only to be interrupted by their mother, and her brother as well, named Sonny. So they have a friend come over named Sam, and they just hang out together, Sam and Sonny. And they seem to have a neighbor that is really into all the holidays and is particularly super set up for Halloween, setting up this super scary spider balloon that was, again, very obvious what that is designed to be there for. Nonetheless, while that's going on, the two boys, hang out a poster for their junk collection job, which is they apparently collect junk, and if they get any that's worthy of them getting richer, I guess that's their gig. Meanwhile, the mom tells Sarah to look after the kids, while she kind of gets badly flirted with this cashier. So, while that's going on, we cut to the school where Tyler returns the slate book to Sarah, and he invites her to this random gig. Meanwhile, Sam is signing up the papers around for their little thing. And they actually get this call later on to get to clean up this old looking house. And they don't recognize it, but it happens to be the residence in which R.L. Stine lived. There they move around with some junk, and then they unlock a secret passage, or Sonny does at the very least, and Sam takes out this chest. They read the notebook, and they get visited by none other than Slappy the puppet. So, after that, Sam trolls with the puppet a little bit. And as they travel outside, these three generic punks try to mess with them, and then Slappy has nothing to do with it, as he forces the main bully's pants down over and over again, and then trips them all three of them over with a hose, using what I assume is called Slappy Force. I think that's what it was called in the books. I don't know. Nonetheless, Sarah goes to her room, trying to get onto the writing whole thing going on. Not doing too well. Still having the issues, while Sam and Sonny are playing some games. So Sarah decides, instead of writing, she's going to go to this party which Tyler had invited her to. And when she arrives, nonetheless, she sees him kissing some other girl. And of course, someone else had mentioned it. I forgot which horror movie it was, and I had just seen it. It was one of my earlier reviews where this exact same scenario happened, where it was a party, is a girl, seeing that girl kiss another guy, and then getting upset. But what was it? The carnival one. Uh, don't remember the name off the top of my head. It's like a devil-like carnival thing. Anyway, nonetheless, so she gets upset and drives off. Meanwhile, Sonny starts his project, or testing his project into this Tesla thing that he's trying to reset up. And Slappy speaks for real and comes to life. And decides to talk to Sam as well, considering both of them his official brothers. And he wants to show off that he wants to do everything just to get on their good graces, doing their work, bringing Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter to life, and then just hangs out and plays some Rocket League. It looks like Rocket League, with them. So the two of them go to sleep while Slappy works on the Tesla machine to make it work at least a little bit better. So, while that's going on, Sarah gets visited by Slappy and gets a screwdriver with Slappy just standing there. And then he ends up with her at the school in her bag. So she gets a surprise visit by Tyler, and she tries to play it off as cool as she possibly can. Nonetheless, Slappy gets angry seeing Tyler act the way he does, so he decides to visit him afterwards and gives him a little trip from ladder to floor, in which Slappy claims Sarah to be his sister. So again, Sonny, working on that Tesla project, had it temporarily work and then had it sort of blow up in their face with various shockwaves being sent out. So Sarah visits the two of them, who put it together that the doll has now come to life, and they try to recall that the mother was the other person mentioned in Sarah's grieving time. So they arrive at her house, and they see that she has the doll with her, and she's kind of messing with it. And after she leaves, it of course comes back to life, and while she gets a call. So Sonny tries to get Slappy to die by reading that paper over and over, but it doesn't seem to work, as he wakes up and goes back to sleep when it's just in time for Sarah to come, and they try to explain everything, but the mother cancels Halloween for the three of them instead. So when she leaves, Slappy is able to teleport around the room, and Sarah swings at him with a bat. They try then, after knocking him out, to throw him into this case, have it locked up, and throw it into the water. Nonetheless, he ends up jumping onto their car, and she drives faster and then stops, making Slappy fly back. So meanwhile, while all that's going on, cut to people getting deeper into the Halloween festive spirit. And the three of them return home to look further into the first book/movie, and they read about how R.L. Stine put all of this together, obviously. So, Slappy goes to that flea market we saw one of the earlier scenes with that guy that was really not that good at flirting, and he chants his spell over while in the Halloween section, bringing all of the things within the vicinity to life. the clerk has a mask put on him, which transforms him as well. So, while that's going on, the three kids find this sort of Richard Shepard, quote unquote, which is where you know, a, a fake name, I assume. Well, they look for the generic bully who had the book last, because he had it in his possession. He took it from the two kids, Sammy and Sonny and Sam. Sorry. So Sarah steps up and spooks them, but the bullies are quickly lifted up into the air via witches with glowy goo faces. And Slappy wants to spread his magic further with the fake bad clerk person named Walter in tow. So Sarah separates from the two boys while they go inside this house to try to get the book. And Slappy does his chant with the getting to the Tesla machine, able to transfer his magic throughout the entire town, making more and more things throughout the entire area come to life. So they see that, well, they don't see it right away, obviously, but, you know, that does come to fruition eventually. But they see that the book was obviously by Stein. They didn't put that together anywhere near sooner. Nonetheless, while the two boys are inside, they get attacked by gummy bears, which is right there in the trailer. They come to life and they suck into each other to get bigger. So the two of them are trying to fight off the gummies. And Sam's getting dragged around, and the other one has the book and then eventually opens it and sucks some of the bears in. While I believe it was Sonny that got the call from the mom and then tried explaining everything. So they leave outside and get a quick scare from Sarah, and they kind of all scare each other accidentally, because oops. And Sonny shows off that it can suck up two skeletons that went in for an attack on the three of them. So since Stein, the real R.L. Stein in the movie, is called out, so he starts to pack up everything. Nonetheless, we see the mother starting to return home after getting that call, and she sees a headless horseman, but she thinks it's a person in a very rather creative costume. But we see even more things coming to life, even the little bags that people are carrying around. And we learn that Slappy wants a mother, the actual mother in the family unit to be specific. So the three kids argue a bit about what they're trying to do, and then end up kind of coming to the conclusion that they should travel back to the mom, who is captured by the giant spider we saw earlier, and she is webbed up, and Sarah uses the book to try to get further in, but a ghost quickly takes it from her. She tries to fight for it back, but both the book and the mom are taken. So the three kids are pulled in by the next door neighbor, who is already in the costume, and he drops the title on them while things are getting explained. So, Slappy starts to use a spell on the mother, while the neighbor suggests to use costumes to essentially be in camouflage, and it appears to work as the three of them are placed in costumes and they are able to move about with all the actual monsters sort of just moving throughout, doing their own thing. So they manage to make it to the tower, And once they take off their costumes, some bats fly around, and R.L. Stein starts to arrive on the scene, that being outside. So Stein is looking outside and sees a red balloon and claims that he created that first. That is a reference to, of course, It, apparently. I guess it's a fun factoid. I don't even know where that came from. Anyway, nonetheless, we see that the mom got turned into a puppet, and Slappy plans to destroy the book so that he and his monster family can live forever. And Sarah gives chase up this little scaffolding thing. So, meanwhile, Sunny's inside trying to turn off the device, but he plans to then overpower it. Nonetheless, Sarah grabs Slappy and manages to get the book afterwards. But the spider attacks. So Sarah promises to give the book in return to get the mom back to normal. So Slappy does agree to this. Afterwards, she fakes him out and kicks him into the device after the whole fake out part. And she starts to suck up the spider, and then the Tesla power kicks into the book, sucking in all the other monsters in as well. R.L. Stein arrives on this particular scene after everything has been said and done, and he claims that people will start to forget what happened, including the flirt guy who gets to get with the mom afterwards. So Sarah asks for some advice for Stein, and he says to write what you know about. So she does, and she gets into college. Sonny wins his award, and the date guy gets the whole date thing. So Stein gets to write his whole new book, and then he turns around to hear Slappy talking to his daddy. And in that moment, Slappy says that he wrote his own book, and he opens it and sucks R.L. Stein into that book, and the movie ends. Indicating they're either ending it here or going to do a third movie, which somebody's going to try to obviously rescue R.L. Stein. And that was Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. This definitely felt a bit more toned down for kids. I don't remember in the first one like how late the monsters actually came into play. It definitely felt like there was like this monster, like some time dedicated to this monster, like Wolfman, and you know some of the monsters that are here as well, if I remember correctly. So I can't remember how long they were in the movie the first time, but it definitely feels a bit shorter here. It takes a bit for Slappy to get his whole unit together, his little how he calls a family together. Which is, you know, the primary reason why you are, you know, that's the whole point of the Goosebumps thing is, you know, you want to kind of get to that part. So there, you know, you have to deal with the whole first part of like, typical girl, in her situation, eats up a good deal of time, especially with the whole Tyler bit. I think that entire subplot could have been cut out and could have definitely saved a lot of time and spent that time building up to more monster time instead. Because that is the primary reason that why a sequel like this would probably want to even exist, is to, you know, get more exposure to the monsters, and it seems again that there's less here, with of course the exception of Slappy, who does get introduced pretty early, but doesn't really do much until the midpoint where he actually exposes himself. So I'd give this movie a 5 out of 10. Nothing great, nothing terrible, I guess, either. Just eh. And that is my review of this movie, and if you liked it, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out that link in the description. It'll send you over to my Patreon page, and any donations are greatly appreciated. Until next time, everyone, bye-bye.